Grazie, grazie.
Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praise be Jesus Christ.
La pace sia con voi.
As we go live, and welcome to this live broadcast of Pope Leo XIV's audience with exponents of the world of cinema. We just heard the Holy Father begin this audience with the liturgical greeting, sign of the cross. And it's taking place in the Clementine Hall in the Vatican's Apostolic Palace. My name is Devin Watkins, and I'll be providing commentary for this event. Thank you for joining us.
È un po' irrequieta, anche se ormai centenaria. Proprio in questi giorni,
Dear brothers and sisters, although cinema is now over a century old, it is still a young, dreamlike, and somewhat restless art form. It will soon celebrate its 130th anniversary, counting from the first public screening by the Lumiere brothers in Paris on December 28, 1895. From the outset, cinema was a play of light and shadow designed to amuse and impress. However, these visual effects soon succeeded in conveying much deeper realities, eventually becoming an expression of the desire to contemplate and understand life, to recount its greatness and fragility, and to portray the longing for infinity.
Con gioia vi saluto, cari amici e amiche, e saluto con gratitudine quello che il cinema rappresenta.
Dear friends, I am happy to greet and welcome you. I also express my gratitude for what cinema represents. A popular art in the noblest sense, intended for and accessible to all. It is wonderful to see that when the magic light of cinema illuminates the darkness, it simultaneously ignites the eyes of the soul. Indeed, cinema combines what appears to be mere entertainment with the narrative of the human person's spiritual adventure. One of cinema's most valuable contributions is helping audiences consider their own lives, look at the complexity of their experiences with new eyes, and examine the world as if for the first time. In doing so, they rediscover a portion of the hope that is essential for humanity to live to the fullest. I find comfort in the thought that cinema is not just moving pictures, it sets hope in motion.
Entrare in una sala cinematografica è come attraversare una soglia nel buio, nel silenzio.
Entering a cinema is like crossing a threshold. In the darkness and silence, vision becomes sharper, the heart opens up, and the mind becomes receptive to things not yet imagined. In reality, you know that your art form requires concentration. Through your productions, you connect with people who are looking for entertainment, as well as those who carry within their hearts a sense of restlessness and are looking for meaning, justice, and beauty. We live in an age where digital screens are always on. There is a constant flow of information. However, cinema is much more than just a screen. It is an intersection of desires, memories, and questions. It is a sensory journey in which light pierces the darkness and words meet silence. As the plot unfolds, our mind is educated, our imagination broadens, and even pain can find new meaning.
Strutture culturali come i cinema e i teatri sono dei cuori pulsanti dei nostri territori.
The logic of algorithms tend to repeat what works.
Se una città è viva, e anche grazie ai suoi spazi culturali. Dobbiamo abitarli, costruirci relazioni giorno dopo giorno. Ma le sale cinematografiche...
Cultural facilities such as cinemas and theaters are the beating hearts of our communities, because they contribute to making them more human. If a city is alive, it is thanks in part to its cultural spaces. We must inhabit these spaces and build relationships within them day after day. We must Nonetheless, cinemas are experiencing a troubling decline, with many being removed from cities and neighborhoods. More than a few people are saying that the art of cinema and the cinematic experience are in danger. I urge institutions not to give up, but to cooperate in affirming the social and cultural value of this activity. The logic of algorithms tends to repeat what works, but art opens up what is possible. Not everything has to be immediate or predictable. Defend slowness when it serves a purpose, silence when it speaks, and difference when evocative. Beauty is not just a means of escape, it is above all an invocation. When cinema is authentic, it does not merely console, but challenges. It articulates the questions that dwell within us, and sometimes even provokes tears that we did not know we needed to express. In this Jubilee year, the Church invites us to journey towards hope. Your presidents here from so many different countries, and your artistic work in particular is a shining example. Like so many others who come to Rome from all over the world, you too are on a journey as pilgrims of the imagination, seekers of meaning, narrators of hope, and heralds of humanity. Your journey is not measured in kilometers, but in images, words, emotions, shared memories, and collective desires. You navigate this pilgrimage into the mystery of human experience with a penetrating gaze that is capable of recognizing beauty even in the depths of pain, and of discerning hope in the tragedy of violence and war.
La Chiesa guarda con stima a voi che lavorate con la luce e con il tempo, con il volto.
The Church esteems you for your work with light and time, with faces and landscapes, with words and silence. Pope St. Paul VI once spoke to artists saying, "If you are friends of genuine art, you are our friends," recalling that this world in which we live needs beauty in order not to sink into despair. I wish to renew this friendship because cinema is a workshop of hope, a place where people can once again find themselves and their purpose. Perhaps we could bear in mind the words of one of the great pioneers of the seventh art, David W. Griffith.
What the modern movie lacks is beauty, the beauty of the moving wind in the trees. Come non pensare, ascoltando Griffith
reference,
parlare del vento fra
citation of the Holy Father of David Griffith. He returns to Italian, saying, "His reference to the wind cannot but remind us of a passage from John's Gospel. The wind blows where it chooses, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit." In this regard, dear seasoned and novice filmmakers, I invite you to make cinema an art of the Spirit. In this present era, there is need for witnesses of hope, beauty, and truth. You can fulfill this role through your artistic work. Good cinema and those who create and star in it have the power to recover the authenticity of imagery in order to safeguard and promote human dignity. Do not be afraid to confront the world's wounds. Violence, poverty, exile, loneliness, addiction, and forgotten wars are issues that need to be acknowledged and narrated. Good cinema does not exploit pain. It recognizes and explores it. This is what all the great directors have done. Giving voice to the complex, contradictory, and sometimes dark feelings that dwell in the human heart is an act of love. Art must not shy away from the mystery of frailty. It must engage with it and know how to remain before it. Without being didactic, authentically artistic forms of cinema possess the capacity to educate the audience's gaze. In conclusion, filmmaking is a communal effort, a collective endeavor in which no one is sufficient. While everyone recognizes the skill of the director and the genius of the actors, a film would be impossible without the quiet dedication of hundreds of other professionals, including assistants, runners, prop masters, electricians, sound engineers, equipment technicians, makeup artists, hairstylists, costume designers, location managers, casting directors, directors of photography, music directors, screenwriters, editors, special effects technicians, and producers. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. It seems there are quite a few.
Ogni voce, ogni gesto, ogni competenza.
Every voice, every gesture, and every skill contributes to a work that can only exist as a whole. In an age of exaggerated and confrontational personalities, you demonstrate that creating a quality film requires dedication and talent. Thanks to the gifts and qualities of those whom you work alongside, everyone can make their unique charisma shine in a collaborative and fraternal atmosphere. May your cinema always be a meeting place and a home for those seeking meaning and a language of peace. May it never lose its capacity to amaze and even continue to offer us a glimpse, however small, of the mystery of God. May the Lord bless you, your work, and your loved ones, and may He always accompany you on your creative journey and help you be artisans of hope. And that was Pope Leo XIV's address to all of the actors and directors and people from the world of cinema. And now we will receive the Holy Father's blessing.
Il Signore sia con voi. Sia benedetto il nome del Signore, ora e sempre. Il nostro aiuto nel nome del Signore. Vi benedica Dio Onnipotente, Padre e Figlio e Spirito Santo. Amen. Grazie a voi, buon lavoro, grazie per tutto.
Greetings to you all, and thank you for your work, said the Holy Father. We appreciate your patience with us at the beginning of this audience. Thank you for all of you for joining us. We also mention those of you who are joining us and welcome you from all of those who are picking up this broadcast from various diocesan radio stations or other broadcasting outlets, including EWTN TV, Catholic Faith Network in America, Salt and Light TV, Shalom World TV, Atmadarshan TV, and Catholic TV. Several of the artists are now going up to greet the Holy Father and shake his hand. Several of those coming up, this include Kate Blanchett, who was first, and this was Viggo Mortensen, a noted actor. As the Holy Father continues to greet individually all of these actors and people from the world of cinema, as he mentioned in his speech, that he named many of the various components and people who work in just to create a single film. It was an extensive list, and he made a small joke expressing his hopes that it was exhaustive, though he may have left some out because this seems such a long list. There are so many people who go into making a film. The popes have reflected over in various encounters and years on the seventh art, as the world of cinema is known as, and the popes believe that cinema can create harmony, awaken wonder, bring history to life, and promote a humanism inspired by gospel values. It was born, as the Pope mentioned, in 1895, and sought in the beginning to document the world of human activity and create a new way of communicating. The first films were moving images without any sound, and became a defining feature of contemporary society. Just to remember a few events, Pope Benedict XVI noted in 2005 at the screening of the film John Paul II that cinema can also bring history to life. This came in 2005, as you'll recall, was the year that Pope John Paul II died and Benedict XVI was elected to the successor of Peter. And the Pope Benedict recalled the film's portrayal of key moments from the pontificate of Pope John Paul II, and said that it brought a sense of deep gratitude to God for having given the Church and the world a Pope of such human and spiritual stature. Going a little bit further back, so John Paul II himself met with participants at a film convention on December 2nd, 1999, and told the participants that the many styles and narrative forms of cinema, which range from realism to fantasy, can promote a humanism rooted in gospel values. The Polish Pope said cinema can help reconcile enemies, bring cultures closer together, and encourage a credible and lasting solidarity, an indispensable foundation for a world of peace. Going even farther back, Pope Paul VI, whom Pope Leo mentioned, held a general audience in 1965 with actors and filmmakers. Pope Paul VI called that gathering extraordinary and reminded those of his time of the responsibility and the incomparable artistic mission. You are the enchanting channel of feelings, passions, experiences, and ideas, said Pope Paul VI in 1965, that, he said, you transmit to those who watch you an immense and solemn task. Give your art the wings of genius, beauty, and spiritual energy. Even further back, in November of 1959, Pope John XXIII established the Vatican Film Library, dedicated to collecting and cataloging film material illustrating the Church's history since 1896. In his apostolic letter, Boni Pastoris, John XXIII wrote that cinema, like radio and television, offers a great possibilities for the spread of higher culture, true art, and above all, truth. At the same time, he warned against moral dangers from productions that offend Christian morality or human dignity, urging all creators to follow the dictates of a right and sensitive conscience. The Pope who preceded John XXIII, Pope Pius XII, met with representatives of the Italian film industry in June of 1955. In his speech, the Pope Pius XII called cinema a phenomenon of extraordinary power demonstrated by billions of annual spectators worldwide. He asked, where does this new art draw its fascination? What is the secret of its spell? He concluded that one secret lies in the free and personal interpretation of the viewer, and in cinema's ability to convey meaning even through the smallest gestures, the movement of a hand, a shrug, a half-open door. It is often these details, said Pope Pius XII, that make a story intelligible and reveal its true meaning. And in his speech today, Pope Leo the 14th called cinema a young and dreamlike and somewhat restless art form. He noted that it will soon celebrate its 130th birthday anniversary on December 28th, 1895. That was the day that the Lumiere brothers held the first public screening of a film in Paris. In his speech, the Holy Father today noted that cinema is that the art of cinema and the cinematic experience are in danger, according to several people. And he said, I urge institutions not to give up, but to cooperate in affirming the social and cultural value of this activity. The Holy Father was referencing the many changes that have taken place in viewing habits over the past several years. We've all borne witness and experienced ourselves the what they call in the circles as cutting the cord. People cutting out their use of regular television, broadcast television, and cable or satellite in favor of more personalized options, including the many streaming services that offer on-demand content. And this has obviously changed the world of cinema, and the Holy Father was referencing that in itself. And with that, we conclude this live broadcast of Pope Leo XIV's audience with exponents of the world of cinema in the Clementine Hall. Please visit the Vatican News web portal, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's event, as well as other Vatican and world news. On behalf of Vatican Media, I would like to thank our in-studio audio technicians and our audio coordinators, and all of our media partners on television and radio, and all of those who have made this broadcast possible, and thank to all of you for joining us. My name is Devin Watkins. Laudetur Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ.